Fratricide. An untenable act. Norse mythology forecasts the end times with an increase in siblings killing their own blood. Yet, history and mythology is inundated with the deplorable act. Cain bludgeoned his brother to death, envious of the favor God showed Abel, the very first human to die. In the hegemonic Persian Empire, accounts from Darius the Great tell a fetid tale of jealousy between Cambyses II and Bardia, the latter being killed in secret, only to cause more anguish before his own death at the hands of his general. Temujin was 14 when his older half-brother would not share food with him. Their tribe had abandoned them, leaving them to catch mice in the steppes of Mongolia. An adolescent fires an arrow and kills his sibling for the meager spoils, one day becoming the great Genghis Khan. Romulus and Remus fled their city of birth in Greece to build another, in a simple disagreement upon which hill to find their new life. The titular Romulus killed the other and founded Rome. Some think they have the fortitude to weigh the means in their ends. Some think they'll always make the pragmatic choice. But what if that choice was killing the one you loved? Killing always has its price. And the man that Rowan hasn't seen in a decade walks forward. Rowan, you're alive. Rowan, it's me, Michael.
What? Brother? No.
They said you were dead. But here you are like a ghost. Like an apparition. Tell me it's you. And he walks forward, his arms raised.
Rowan is stunned. His hands shaking numbly, still holding the glaive though loosely, and his legs seem to move him forward until her voice enters his ear, and he sort of stops and wavers, but he can't bring himself to say anything.
Rowan, come give your brother a hug.
Michael, I killed you. I watched you die.
No, those days were so long ago, Rowan. No need to dwell on them now. There's always a new beginning for all of us. Come. Put down your weapon, Rowan. There's nothing to fear.
How are you here?
How does any man get anywhere, Rowan? Stop being so confused. Just accept this.
How did you survive? I stabbed you. I watched you die. Just tell me how. Then I can accept.
And he walks closer. Doesn't matter anymore, Rowan. You're here now, with me. That's all that matters. Please, Rowan. Please put down your weapon. I don't have the strength to fight you anymore.
I don't want to fight you either, but Michael, if this is you, and what are you doing here instead of with my...
You told me you died, Rowan. You told me you died. You didn't want to see either me or anyone that I knew. Not now. And who am I to deny him? Him of all people, Rowan.
Can you at least tell me how he is?
He's less than a foot away from you. You can see the new scars on his face. His eyes are misty. He's fine. He's grown into a fine young lad. He's strong, just like us.
Does he get along with Sophie?
Does anyone gets along with Sophie?
No, Michael, Rowan says as he raises his glaive, because Sophie died almost 10 years ago, and Rowan, without further hesitation, lashes out with everything he has, and he doesn't stop. In a fit of rage, cuts this apparition before him to pieces.
And as your blades strike at his steel, he's now moving backwards, using his vambraces to resist the onslaught. Sparks of steel shave off from his own forearms and from the glaive itself, and energy explodes backwards, bursts through the snow beneath his feet, ripping apart, and you can feel the pressure of Rowan's own blows, and from inside men start to file outside, more and more of them now hearing the sound. And when Rowan is done, men all have their blades drawn. Headhunters from above are flowing down the stairs like a wave of steel and swords. As he uncrosses his arms, blood trickling down his elbows, his face now, instead of remorse, it is just of acceptance, and he nods his head. I'm sorry, Rowan. I wasn't able to show you another way.
He's still alive. Rowan will aim his glaive at the image of Michael and aim it at his neck and say,
I am Michael Buckman. I am the man that you slashed to pieces, the man you killed, the man you ripped apart. The man you cared not for when he woke up on that surgeon's table. The man who was sold into slavery as his arms were ripped by metal, by iron, by chains. The man who rose up. The man who decided to take a stand. The man who has made it his purpose to conquer all. I have misspoke, Rowan. I am not Michael Buckman. They call me a Pictus now. 30 headhunters are rushing down the stairs, their feet clamoring on the wood, their own steel shields and swords being drawn and donned. Belloc Thea and Johann in front, as the 10 centurions also donning their shields, drawing their weapons, and facing the doors. It's burst open, heavy oak shuddering aside and snow falling from the roof. And Adolphus, he pulls from his chest something small. You can't see it. It's covered by his hand. And he looks to Epictus. They all hear. It's quiet. Even the soldiers stop for a moment. They're almost holding their breath, waiting for Rowan's answer. It is silent. Not even the wind blows.
Rowan slowly lowers his glaive and says, So, it was you. Michael, I'm sorry I swung at you. After all I've seen, I could scarcely believe it wasn't some illusion or a deception. But if you truly are my brother, then how could you have forgotten Sophie? How could you have forgotten your own sister-in-law?
One of the men looked back to Epictus, still turned towards the door. Order, sir! Epictus falls back a step. He slowly bends down and picks up his helmet. And as he slides it onto his face, I haven't been back in 10 years, little brother. You expect me to know anything about them?
I always believed that Sophie dying without getting to know you better, and Toby hating me for what I'd done to you. I thought I'd done something truly wicked. But if you truly are General Epictus, then I'm glad they were spared having to see who you'd become.
He steps back another, pulling his sword out of the snow. Seeing what I've become? Seeing what I've become? Look at you, little brother. Look at your little army. Look at your little followers. Look at the bloodlust in your own eyes. You'd cut me down again, wouldn't you? I didn't think it possible. I thought you would have learned.
Learned what, brother?
There's a shifting in the snow as the centurions are restless. The headhunters slowly shift forward like water, wood creaking. And as Epictus turns towards Rowan, now standing completely straight, gripping his sword, "Tell me, Rowan, why do you fight me?"
Look at the damage you've done, brother. Look at the cities you've burned. Look at the people you've killed. The innocent civilians you've massacred just to make a statement. All the pain, destruction. How could I not?
And what is my statement, all-knowing Rowan?
All-knowing. I don't need to be all-knowing to know that mass murder and genocide is wicked. Your statement seems to be nothing more than fear, the typical statement of a would-be tyrant.
And you have learned nothing. Those I kill, those I put to death, they're the ones who enslave us. They're the ones who use us, exploit the people. I wear no finery, no gold. I dig the trenches with my men. I fight at the front lines. And I kill with them. And I expect every one of my men to do the same. Just because Dracot, this next city, who has surrendered, they have backward beliefs. They persecute those they do not understand, and yet you are defending them? You've learned nothing since the time of Tiberius. Nothing at all.
Don't spit your venom at me, tyrant. I don't care for their leadership. Oppressors, you haven't just murdered politicians, you slaughtered innocent civilians. People like you and me, who have to live under those politicians you claim are oppressors. You've slaughtered people who suffer through this life, who have worked and sweat and bled just to provide for their families, and you've killed them all for what?
Then stand aside!
Stand aside. To you?
And you shall have mercy as well as those beneath you and the people of Dracot. Stand aside.
I see now. You mentioned slavery. Yes, I hear it now, the anger in your voice. You spoke of the bloodlust in my eyes, but yours, I see.
You are a killer, Rowan, and you've always been a killer. That's what makes us different. I hesitated when we fought, but you struck me down. You killed me. There was no remorse. There was nothing.
No remorse. No remorse. I died that day, brother.
And yet now you would kill me again merely to sate yourself. Then let it be done. Any of the rest of you, if you would like to put down your weapons and leave, you can.
You're speaking to the wrong crowd, Epictus. These men and women here are not cowards, and they are not victims. We will not be victims to the oppressor that you've become.
Belloc the stands forward, out of the door, a step. Everybody tenses, a twitch there. We would rather die, owning nothing, than let you take what is ours. Very well. If it is to be this way, that's the difference between you and me, Rowan. You fight for yourself. I fight for you.
If you truly are that deluded, then nothing can change your mind. The pain you experienced on that slave ship is what's driven you. And that's why you hate me. Because I've accepted my pain. But you are your pain. And now you seek to inflict it on everyone else around you. You're dead inside and you won't live happily until everything's dead around you. But not this day. Not while I still breathe.
He takes a step forward. You defend them still. You defend those people who have caused such pain and misery, and then you blame me for casualties. To say that you have never caused an innocent's death. To say I am deluded. I feel sorry for you.
I do not need the pity of a genocidal maniac. I have never turned my blade toward a civilian. I have never committed the hideous war crimes that you have.
He takes a step forward.
I've made mistakes, but I choose not to let my hatred be my defining life.
And how many men have you killed just doing their duty? How many men have you put in their graves? Those who had wives and children, those who could have had bountiful lives after you slit their throats.
You started this war, you maniac! The men you've lost in your army, their blood is on your hands. They didn't
and I
have to die.
will finish it.